Council is called to order at 6:12 p.m. Do we have any member of the clergy here today? If not, if Ms. Herminia Balboa could lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, would anybody like to do the invocation up here? Ms. City Treasurer? If, okay, how about Mayor Pro Tem Manning? I'm so sorry. I know you're a little sick over there. Okay.
Dear God, thank you for allowing us to come here tonight safely. Lord, we ask that you continue to protect us, to protect our family, to protect our friends as we go about our business. Lord, we ask that you empower our city manager so that we can have economic development. Lord, we thank you for our staff and we thank you for our council. Lord, we thank you for blessing us as a city. We look forward to moving forward. Thank you. Amen.
Please stand. To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Johnson?
Here.
Councilmember Montero?
Present.
Councilmember Reyes English?
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Manning?
Here.
Mayor Vargas?
I'm here. Thank you, Ms. City Clerk. So just wanted to remind everybody, we did talk about that decorum discussion and just kind of how to, certain things that we talked about at the last meeting. Just a quick reminder, and we won't do this after this point, is that everybody just discuss, argue the policies, don't argue the person. I think if we stick to that, we're mostly we're gonna be okay. Quick reminder: there's a limit on directives to staff. If there's something you could ask offline and get an answer to, that'd be good too. You could also report that you received certain information as opposed to issuing a directive. So that's another way you could report out to the community that you got an answer to something that they were concerned about. We can't respond to the community when it comes to the oral communications part, but you guys can come and express yourselves however you want. Also, for the community, you have your freedom, your First Amendment right to be able to express yourself however you want, but just always be wary that if you express yourself in a way that's a ruckus behavior, etc., there might be a limit to that, but it's also whatever point you're trying to get across could be lost on everybody that's listening, either up here and in the community if you express yourselves in a negative fashion. Okay, so just be mindful of that too. All right, and that's pretty much it. I don't want to use this but I will if it goes. Anything happens that shouldn't be happening. I think that's pretty much it, right? Yeah, and it also applies to our interactions behind and during closed sessions. So we have to police ourselves. Our first item of the night is a presentation. Councilmember Reyes English, please proceed, ma'am.
Thank you so much, Mayor. I am so excited to welcome Minority Psychology Network, Ms. Brim and Dr. Kathy, who are here today, invited by myself, and talk a little bit about their organization, but more importantly, the mental health, addressing mental health, behavior health, and those obvious illnesses that are here in the city of Hawthorne, and how important it is that not only we discuss it, but find policies so we could assist it. And just real quick, we met with them last year with Vaughn, and we've been having to push it back just because I haven't been here, so I'm elated that they were patient enough to wait for me, and thank you so much for your efforts. Go ahead with your presentation. Thank you.
Thank you so much for having us today. My name is Successful Brim. I'm the founder and CEO of the Minority Psychology Network. So currently I am getting my doctorate in clinical forensic psychology. We started the Minority Psychology Network because we wanted to create a network of individuals who are able to give psychoeducation and mental health resources to minority communities. We have advocates and mental health professionals. We partner all over the city of LA with different individuals, different community centers, schools, universities. Every Friday we have an event where we have mental health professionals that give mental health resources to youth who are just recently incarcerated. They have a drum circle, and then they have one-on-one therapy afterwards. We also did a panel discussion for Netflix. We also are doing a panel discussion next week with American Airlines. We also make sure that we have an internship volunteer program. We help individuals who are interested in becoming a mental health professional, getting community hours, and also training in the mental health field. So we wanted to make sure that A Healthy Hawthorne is our initiative in order to serve the community, and I'm going to introduce Dr. Monica, who's the chair of our board, to talk more about it.
Good evening, City Council. It's a pleasure to be here with all of you this evening. Our passion, as Successful just mentioned, is one where we desire to make sure that all residents are able to have access to quality care, live healthy, happy, and whole. No individual is left behind in that regard. Currently, we know that mental health stigma is still one of the areas where individuals don't always recognize the importance of being able to get access to services, where to get access to those services, and how. And just like with any other physical illness, mental health is no different. And so we're all about the whole person and being able to provide that for them. With Healthy Hawthorne, we really did our best to align with the priorities for the city of Hawthorne and the residents around their needs. We know that with growing levels of homelessness, we also know that being able to access quality of services across the lifespan is one of those priorities that the city of Hawthorne actually empowers and you as a city council embrace, and we're very grateful for that. We work and desire to really collaborate and partner with the city of Hawthorne to ensure that there's an enhancement around awareness, education, as Successful mentioned, a promotion for prevention and strengthened strategies to be able to help communities who don't normally know where to access services and how to be able to access them for free. Let me pause. Free. One of the biggest barriers to access to care is cost. And when it comes to mental health, specifically next to stigma, that is one of the cornerstones that eliminate individuals from actually being able to have access to those services. So our desire is really to do a needs assessment for the residents in Hawthorne, to create a publicly accessible way to which they partner, or the organizations will be able to have a group of stakeholders, with the Department of Health being the hub in the city of Hawthorne, to work with us to help to improve those access to services, to help to collaborate with all parties, school districts, as Successful mentioned, health departments, law enforcement, city officials, to help be able to allocate also more funding and resources that we know that's coming down from the state regarding these priorities, and to pursue, obviously, additional funding for that. Our also major goal is to provide capacity building, to be able to do what they call peer-to-peer training. Individuals will be able to get trained in mental health first aid, which is psychoeducation, as Successful mentioned. It's a free service. They actually get a certification and are able to get empowered by helping themselves and their families and the community. So those trainings would be provided by us. We would be able to have an evaluation and a monitoring component to this, because we really believe in the evidence, right? The science will speak for itself. As a researcher who's been in this work for over 17 years, I can tell you the data does not lie. 1 in 5 individuals who are adults are suffering with a severe mental illness that's undiagnosed and untreated. And we want to be able to, like I said, be able to have an opportunity to help eliminate some of these barriers, increase access to services. No one is exempt. We're looking at from younger children all the way to older adults, 80 and up, to be able to have quality of these services. And so our desire is to have the City of Hawthorne's Department of Health to oversee the implementation of the policy. working together with local stakeholders to ensure that our objectives are met. And we also want to be able to, like I said, have more representation. It doesn't matter, this is bipartisan. This is about being healthy, happy, and whole. This is about the quality of life for all human beings, which is a human right, and to be able to have access to, like I said, to quality services, specifically around mental health, is what we desire to provide for the residents for Hawthorne. And we are just grateful for the opportunity to give a little bit, a short overview of our organization, the work that we've been able to do in the past, has it been 6 years? You know, grappling with the midst of COVID and what that was able to do during a time where we actually are able to see the outcomes of isolation, anxiety, and depression, and actually normalizing these conversations in wonderful spaces like this. So we just thank you for the opportunity to share this evening, and I don't know if we are open to any questions or feedback. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I just want to also just make mention that the Minority Psychology Network was in partnership with our attorneys event that we had for evictions when we met at the Memorial Center, and we had a organization that assisted our tenants that are going through evictions and these things alike, and they were there on hand to assist those that are really mentally challenged when they're stressed out and have things like this. So please, counsel, anything you'd like to offer. Thank you.
To the chair,
Yes.
I wanted to know, do you guys have a brick and mortar?
No, we do not have a brick and mortar. We are everywhere that we have events, we either have a place where there's a facility or we are out in the community. We're in the field. So we were just recently in Pasadena where we had a huge event. I also work as a co-host for K-Day 93.5. So we got together with the community and we were able to feed so many people who were in need, clothe them and everything like that. So we go on site.
Okay, I just am trying to understand how, if you can like share with me the scope of work and the logistics of how you go about providing these services. I know that it's possible, but I'm just trying to figure out how you guys will work in conjunction with us, and then to really get a heart, what is your ask?
So we go out into the community. You don't have to come to us. That's part of the problem, right? A lot of people may not have transportation, may not know where to go or how to get there or what to do. So we come to you, or we hold these events in special places. So as I mentioned before, one of the events that we have every Friday, we have partnered with an organization. Their facility houses our therapists. Our therapists are there in order to give those in need mental health services. We also go out into the parks or homeless shelters and things like that in order to give mental health resources. We also have different platforms like Zoom, where we hold different events where people are able to log on, speak to our mental health professionals, and then also we connect them with mental health professionals.
So you guys are not the persons that actually interact with the client. You have a van or a truck or whatever, and then they talk to the people in the van or to
Yes,
get the support.
We have a network. The network is the mental health professionals.
Okay. And then what is your ask of the city of Hawthorne?
Everything? No. Honestly, we are what they call mental health on wheels. We, as Successful mentioned, psychoeducation is one of the things. So partnering with stakeholders who are in Hawthorne, who already have priority around health and wellness, we would love to be able to come in and provide the certification, like I mentioned, the peer-to-peer trainings, the mental health first aid, to be able to connect them with what we call wraparound services. So coordinating those services to individuals so that they don't have to be overwhelmed by the process. They would have a peer advocate and a professional like ourselves to be able to coordinate that care with them, and then also train the trainers, because many clinicians, I can say this, are overworked, burnt out, and overwhelmed. And so part of that is to provide respite. We give that respite for the providers as well, and safe spaces to be able to get the support that they need. We're all about help one, help another, and also Healthy Hawthorne is a priority. We recognize this community is of need and somehow has been overlooked in regards to priorities around this area, and we want to be able to have more individuals that look like us, are by us, and for us to be able to support the residents here.
Okay, and then I have one more question, and that question is, you guys mentioned earlier in your presentation about a grant. So do you need us, are you also asking for us to help you get that grant? That's,
Yes.
okay, okay.
Yes,
So
we
anyway,
don't- yeah.
I just wanted to say thank you guys for your presentation. Thank you so much for coming out and sharing. I am very aware how important mental health is. And currently we have a van called Telehealth, and they kind of do what you guys are talking about. So I am aware of what you're doing, and I'll say thank you so much for your services.
Okay, I have a couple questions. No, thank you for being here, and I know that we've always said, hey, you know what, we need to get services to mental health attention to those who are out there unhoused or homeless, and that's one of the biggest things, so you could possibly be an avenue for that. How many cities do you have a relationship with, partnership with, that is official that we could refer to?
Well, so we are a national nonprofit. So every city out here in LA, we partner with everyone. Brotherhood Crusade is one of the organizations that we partner with. CDRC, we get interns and volunteers through them as well. We also, Long Beach, Inglewood, Compton, East LA, Pasadena, Hollywood, Santa Monica, everywhere. Like, we go everywhere that whoever needs help. So we make sure that we partner with as many people as possible.
Oh, okay, no. You mentioned that you said that you would partner with our health department, but we don't have a health department. Were you intending on saying maybe considering a different department, or have you talked to our city manager, or what was your general idea? I just wanted to, just bring that up.
It might be designated as something else, but whoever provides the health coordination of care for the residents, we would want to have those stakeholders at the table to actually collaborate and partner with those bodies.
No, I mean, yeah, I think on a county level, I think that we have the health department at that level. Cities usually don't have like a health department, really. I mean,
Yes.
maybe perhaps you were talking about community
Communicate.
service. Mr. City Manager, do you have a general idea what the,
No, I don't.
okay, so,
We fun.
On that later.
okay. Okay, one thing that I did want to, just my concern is, I'm a minority, I'm a Latino. I know there's a lot of African Americans here. The title of your organization is Minority Psychology Network. Is your focus solely on minorities or solely on minorities?
Our organization recognizes the barriers to care for minorities that have been broader in length, but we are for everybody, always have been and always will be.
So if somebody that's not considered a standard minority,
They would be able to get services and support from us.
then
of
how
course.
would you reach out to both minorities and those who are not considered minorities? What kind of outreach would you have in place?
Fortunately, when we're in the communities and collaborating with the cities that we partner with, the organizations that we partner with, all of those embrace all of the demographics in the community. And so I think our representation, hopefully the title doesn't intimidate anyone. We know that the disparities exist, and that's why we had to make opportunity to actually reduce those disparities. But we have everybody. We have interns of all walks of life. We have organizations and Department of Mental Health that collaborate with us, that prioritize all communities. And so, like I said, the title, I hope, doesn't intimidate anybody, but the reality is those services are needed for underrepresented communities, because those are where the data shows that those individuals do not normally get the access and the quality of services that they deserve.
And no, thank you for mentioning it. Thank you for clarifying that. And the reason I bring it up, obviously, is because I have had people that have come to me who are, I mean, I don't even know what's considered a minority now. I mean, we're 55% Latino, 25% African American, white, like whatever that, 15, 20%, et cetera. So at that point, 12, 13. people have come to me and asked for help from all those represented areas, demographics. And so I want to make sure that like our residents out there, if we were to do something with you, that they would be able to access care.
Absolutely.
I would like to also add, we have mental health professionals that are also not of color as well, and that are also chairs of our different committees.
Thank you, ma'am.
Through the chair.
Sir.
Thank you for being here.
Turn on your mic.
Since it's Black History Month, so see two beautiful Black women representing the mental health that is innovative, right? Because we know there is a lack of mental health institution and service through all over the community, regardless of color. So there is a shortage of mental health professional. So for me, it is good to see that you guys want to see a healthy Hawthorne, and that is what we all aspire to be, a healthy Hawthorne, a healthy citizens. And I believe you guys can do great things in the city of Hawthorne, not just to the city, but also, you know, to the other communities in the city, because we have churches, for example, that you can pair with churches to do the service, because peer-to-peer, that's a fantastic idea. So churches, you have some other organization in the city of Hawthorne that probably will partner with you, even, you know, to do after-school programs, for example, right? And then for us as a city, you know, we have an event coming up to call the Providers Fair on April 12th. So we would love for you to be there to talk to people and maybe even recruit people to join your program. And we have also an autism walk coming up on April 26th that I would definitely encourage you to be there to talk to a lot of those parents, because, you know, they have stress, right? A lot of those issues. So I think it is opportunity that to grab, like you said, because, you know, City of Hawthorne, so we are a minority community and of Blacks and Latinos, and those services are needed because we, the city, cannot provide health and mental health because we don't have the resource, we don't have the money. So we have to depend on County of LA, you know, Los Angeles County and the state to send us a dime to provide those services. So there is opportunity there, you know, like I said, the community service, the Betty Ann's Ward that you can, you know, recruit people there, the senior center when we reopen again. And those are all opportunities that's out there to provide this kind of service that we desperately need. So thank you for being here. I appreciate it.
Just one quick question. I just want to ask you, is you're operating or working here in the city, is that contingent on our assisting you with the grant? Or do you still have the funds and grants available from outside to already start helping? Or is this a supplemental grant that you're asking for? Can you just talk about that real quick?
We come as volunteers wherever we can, so it's not contingent upon the grant. Obviously, the operation cost to be able to provide the services is something that we're leveraging. We have received grants and partnerships with other foundations to kind of help us navigate the psychoeducation, and we're looking to supplement that in any capacity that we can, specifically around the peer-to-peer component of that, because those are training hours, and there is a certification that goes with that can be brought into Medi-Cal for an individual to actually be a Medi-Cal peer certified specialist and actually be able to build for those services. So we would need a supplemental support, anything, but that would not limit us to come and help. Whatever we can do, wherever we can, how we can, is how we started. It's from the heart. It's not about the money. It's about the people and really helping individuals get the help that they need.
Thank you. Councilwoman Reyes-English.
Thank you, Mayor. Anyone else? Go ahead.
Real quick, have you guys done any events in Hawthorne yet? No?
Yes. Yes,
The one-
at the Memorial Center with the
Right, at the Memorial Center.
When was this?
last year, February, I think.
Yes, it was
March.
around February, March.
And what was the event?
So we were at, we partnered with a law firm, and they were helping individuals who needed help with their housing, and we gave them mental health resources because, of course, you're going through housing issues, you're gonna need some type of support. You know, your health is also your mental health, so we help get them the help that they need with mental health professionals.
Thank you.
Go back.
Sorry. I forgot to ask you guys about teenagers, youth. We have a youth organization here that I'm thinking about in particularly, but I know that they work with foster youth. So, and then we have Richstone that work for, well, we have a number of organizations that work with our youth. And so I just want to know, do you guys help youth? Like, do you have to be 18 to get that support, or if they're under 18, do they have to sign some type of waiver, or can you support the youth that's under 18?
So we have partnerships with, as I stated before, Brotherhood Crusade, CDRC, volunteers. They're ranging from grade school to graduate school, all age groups. We speak at different schools. We have a partnership with LA Unified School District. We're always at the colleges, the schools. I was just at Charles Jr. University. I was also at a magnet school not too long ago. So we're always in the school system. That's one of our major partnerships.
And you don't have to be, and we do advocate for the youth. Anyone that's 12 years old is able to get provided services without parental consent in the state of California. And so we do our best to support those in need at younger ages. We're recognizing signs and symptoms a lot sooner. And being able to advocate so that they have their personal voice and choice is an area that we do support young people with.
Thank you.
And we have Student State of Mind, which is the program that implements that for that population.
Thank you.
Go ahead. Councilwoman Reyes.
Thank you, Mayor and council members. Let me just make mention that I've known Dr. Caffey for many years. I've worked in the State Assembly and the State Senate. We've partnered with her organization. Not only that, she's an appointee by the governor to address behavioral health, and has a committee that she chairs and sits on. Brim is another great collaborator with me in my years of service to the community. Wherever I've asked them to attend and participate, they've gladly done that, whether through tabling or addressing community needs. And I'm grateful that you're here today. I would love to work together in efforts to address not only our mental health, behavioral health. We all know that the stigma behind homelessness is because there's other services that are needed. And unless you get to the root of that problem, you're not gonna get the homeless issues eradicated, period. So I look forward to collaborating, Vaughn. I look forward to hosting not only events, but finding space where you could have hours that you could use your time to address the needs of the community, partnering with telehealth so that there are additional clinicians available to address those needs. You bring great value to the needs of the community, not only the needs, but to address those needs and bring resolve. In spite of the minority title, I am blessed and fortunate to be Latina, Black, and from Idaho. So I've got all my rainbow covered. And I don't want folks to take for granted the fact that Hawthorne, we represent everybody. So I really enjoy the fact that you have a group of people that is helping through volunteerism to address the issue, but more importantly, the clinicians that are taking their time to do that. It's a lot of work, and it's an exhausting effort when it comes to addressing mental health. It's not a one-time fix. And so I just acknowledge the fact that you've been persistent with regards to bringing this to the forefront, addressing it. Any monies that are helpful obviously go back out to the community. As the lead agency with regards to grants and funding, that's something that I'm going to work on along with the city to help in those efforts. I do appreciate you bringing those funding sources here. In spite of maybe not knowing what that looks like, you're still able to deliver a service to address the needs in Hawthorne. We always get calls here, and especially the mayor and myself, to address homeless issues and those mental health issues through police, and then in our alleyways, especially at these big box stores where they're just hanging out because they have a mental health issue, a mental health crisis, and we need to know how to address those. If there's a partnership that you could lend to us on how we do that, that would be awesome, because at the end of the day, we need to root out the issue. And unless we know how to do that, it's going to continue, and it's just going to be an ongoing cycle. So that's going to be my promise to you that I will make efforts any way I can, as long as I'm in service, to provide that and to connect you with other organizations and people that I know. And I know Councilmember Montero, his long history with behavioral health services and other organizations in our city will do the same. And Katrina, with regards to looking for urgent health centers, wellness centers, all of this is a collaboration of all those efforts in with regards to health. So I look forward, again, bringing you back to give us some updates on how you're working and how you're helping Hawthorne. But thank you again, and we look forward to seeing you when I invite you back, and that's going to be soon. Thank you.
Thanks so much for having us. Thank you.
Thank you, ladies, for your time. And let's give them a round of applause for their service. Thank you for your service. We really appreciate that. And, you know, yeah, thank you, Councilwoman Reyes English, for bringing this forth. That
Thank you, Mayor. I appreciate you.
We've been, we've been talking about this, and
We have. I appreciate that. Thank you.
yeah, so I mean, this is good. Madam Clerk, the guidelines for oral communications.
Pursuant to Government Code Section 54954.3, all remarks should be addressed to the City Council as a body and not to any individual council member. During oral communications, speakers shall have 3 minutes to state their business. The Brown Act prohibits the City Council from providing a detailed response or acting upon any items not contained on the agenda. The governing bodies as a body shall have the discretion at the close of oral communications to refer any remarks to the city manager for study, investigation, report, and/or recommendation.
Okay.
Thank you.
Hold on just a moment. Just want to cross something out right here. Okay. Gary Anderson, please. Gary Anderson, hi, sir.
How you doing? Good evening, everyone. I'm here on behalf of SPA, Office of Disaster Relief and Recovery and Resilience, here to address everyone that our deadline right now for applying for assistance is coming up quickly for March the 10th, and I just wanted to make sure that at this point, if we could address everyone, that if you know anyone that we can assist, whether it's business, nonprofits, homeowners, or renters. We've been seeing a lot of reports of people still out in their cars because they don't have any resources or any way to be able to recover right now. And we wanted to make sure that if there's any way we can help out. I know that we are a low interest loan, but we also have the program set up so there's no interest or payments for 1 year. This is to help a lot of people who cannot pay their deductibles to have the insurance go in and start the work to recovery. So this gives them 1 year to get started, whether you're a business, renter, or homeowner, or nonprofit. We want to be there to help the community get back on its feet. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, sir. Please make sure to touch base with staff so that you're on our roster of resources for the community.
Yes, sir.
Carol Masson?
Do they have any flyers? Okay.
Good evening, Mayor Vargas and council members. I'm Carol Maston. I live at 2425 West 115th Street in Hawthorne for the last 53 years, going on 54 years. And I was here a couple of weeks ago, and I came about an issue about illegal dumping in the alley behind my house. And I just wanted to come to say thank you to the city and whoever else that helped to clean up the alley the very next day. And I just want to say, I came to say thank you. I know everybody come to complain and say what's wrong, but I don't know how many come back to say thank you when it's due. So I just want to say thank you. I know Von probably remember, a few years ago, they had talked about putting cameras in alleys because even after it was cleaned up the very next day, someone came Sunday and dumped a box spring in the alley. I can't get the license plate. For some reason, they are really, really good about skewing or hiding the license plate. I asked my neighbors on both sides, were they able to catch the license plate number, and they weren't. So I got a picture of the guy dumping the mattress, but I can't get the, and of course I did 311. They picked it up the next day, Monday, I think it was, yes. They picked it up Monday, and they asked me for the license plates. I can only give a description of the guy, but I couldn't get the plates. So I know a few years ago, Bond had talked about, or someone had talked about, I think it was Bond when he was, over the senior citizens services, had talked about putting cameras in various alleys and maybe rotating, installing them. But I don't know if that's still on the agenda, not if that can be done. But we have the sign posted. It's a big fine, but the sign means nothing. I think we need, if we can get the rotating cameras, or if we can get cameras installed, if that can be done, that may help to deter maybe the dumping, because our cameras are not picking up the license plates, and they know how to, I guess, get out of the view of the camera just enough so that we can't catch the license plate. And a time before, I did go out in the alley, but my husband told me before he passed, don't do that. You know, I went out there and took the guy a picture, and the guy came at me, so I ran back in the house and locked the gate. But I did get his picture, and he did take off. But I'm saying, I know that's not safe. So again, if you just can consider maybe, I know the police are patrolling, because I saw them at 2 o'clock in the morning patrolling the alley. But these guys are smart. They'll come at various times, even, you know, like broad daylight, because it was about a little after, I think, 1 or 2 o'clock on Sunday that he dumped. So thank you very much for your, and I just wanted everybody to know that the city does work for you, but I don't want to have to call the mayor. I think I have good numbers, and I thank you very much for your service.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for highlighting how efficient the 311 app is. It does work. So I'll be talking about that later. Okay, Olivia Valentine.
Good evening, Mayor, City Council, elected representatives. I first want to congratulate you because of the great improvement in communications, which was demonstrated by Eric at the last City Council meeting. I watched with great anticipation and joy as the city has moved away from dependency on the website to having a full-fledged social media presence. So congratulations. So what I want to talk about is the construction, which is almost completed, for an 8-story behemoth apartment building at 12888 Crenshaw Boulevard at the corner of El Segundo, with 265 units and 250 parking spaces. Technically, it is in Gardena, but the city of Hawthorne is adjacent to it on 2 sides, and the people of Hawthorne are going to be impacted if there is not sufficient parking and traffic mitigation. We also need to make certain the city of Gardena is going to be fully responsible for the water and sewage infrastructure and usage. This project was part of the Build, Build, Build strategy of the legislature, which pushed the cities to increase its RHNA numbers regardless of the increased congestion it caused. The initiative was supposed to solve the problems of lack of affordable housing and homelessness. It is obvious that it did neither one. Both SB 9 and SB 10 and other laws like them gave a developer the right to increase the amount of housing units on a parcel regardless of the zoning restrictions if a project was a half-mile from a transit station. They were clearly intended to destroy single-family housing. Further, under SB 9 and 10 and countless other housing laws, the developer held all the cards. He did not have to provide for parking or to pay the city for providing water or sewage infrastructure. As I said, technically the project is in Gardena, but it will affect the quality of life for Hawthorne residents. It is my hope that Hawthorne has already made it clear to Gardena that Gardena will have to reimburse Hawthorne for any increased impact on traffic, parks, water, sewer, power grids, and public safety personnel that Hawthorne will incur as a result of this project. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else wishing to address the City Council? If not, I declare oral communications closed. So ordered. Madam Clerk?
Mr. Mayor, I have 2 items on the consent calendar. They're items 2 and 3 for your consideration and approval. Item 2, approval of waiver of full readings of resolutions and ordinances on Tuesday's February 25th, 2025's agenda. Item 3, City Treasurer requests approval of warrants for adoption.
I'll move.
Second.
Please vote.
The votes are in. The vote reflects mayor and council voting yes.
The ordinance number 2255, please.
Ordinance number 2255, first reading, an ordinance of the City of Hawthorne, California, amending Section 12.31.010, deposit of bulky waste on sidewalks, streets, or public right-of-way of Chapter 1231, bulk waste on sidewalks or streets, to Title 12, Streets and Sidewalks of the Hawthorne Municipal Code, and making a finding of exemption in compliance with CEQA and connection therewith.
Real quick, either the city attorney or Mr. City Manager, can you kind of, in layman's terms, tell the community how this is changing, please?
Basically, this follows the directive given by the council at the last meeting regarding illegal dumping. There is already an existing ordinance making it a either administrative action or by a misdemeanor criminal action. We added a subsection D to the ordinance that maximizes the penalties as a criminal misdemeanor fines and potential jail sentence that's allowed under the state law.
Can you tell us what those fines are as of now?
So in
whatever you can.
I think right now we have a fines by the first offense, second offense, it increases by I believe 300 to 500 to 1,000. This gives, and the Hawthorne Municipal Code always gave the city attorney discretion to file a case as a misdemeanor or as an administrative action. This makes the misdemeanor action fine up to $1,000 that's allowed under the state law. And I have discussed this with our prosecution unit to make any arrest for illegal dumping to be prosecuted as a criminal misdemeanor.
Illegal dumping, yeah. Yes, ma'am, go ahead.
Thank you. I have another question, and I'm glad you paused for questions because I was curious myself. I know at the last council meeting, I was asking about signage, illegal dumping signage in places such as alleys and these hidden, corners where this is most of the dumping that is happening. Signage, and then showing what those fines are. And then if those that are found, say for instance, doing the dumping to full prosecution, ultimately being, not only fined but further sentenced if there should be. So does that include all of that as well?
No, that's not by ordinance. That would be something that that the Public Works would have to put up the signs.
Okay. Okay.
So if you're giving that directive, then then Public Works will work on the signs.
Okay, I'll do that with Vaughn. Thank you.
Through the chair.
Yes.
Quick question, does this cover the residents leaving garbage out all week long on the sidewalks, or is this just bulky items?
It just applies to bulky waste.
Okay. Are we working on something to help residents who are near apartment complexes that leave their garbage out all week, their garbage cans?
I'm not sure. I'm gonna have to check the ordinance for that kind of violation, but I don't know offhand right now.
Okay.
So, and I just want to caution the council, we don't want to get overly aggressive against the residents there could be a misconfusion about somebody accidentally leaving trash out, and, to make that a heavy fine or a criminal case, that's maybe kind of overreacting. So I'll look for that ordinance and I'll report back to you on that.
Thank you, because that has been a complaint.
Okay.
And it is affecting residents having to walk around the garbage cans that are on the sidewalk.
Well, I'd like to ask an additional question to the city attorney. Can you please do the research and see what cities like Manhattan Beach, Redondo Beach, Torrance, Palos Verdes, how they approach this?
About bulky waste or?
About how they go about citing for this.
Okay.
I think we deserve a lot, some proper attention to some of these things.
Well, City of Manhattan Beach does not handle cases as their own misdemeanor case. It's all handled by the district attorney's office. The city and Torrance and Inglewood are kind of unique in that we have a prosecution unit for misdemeanors.
Okay, well then, as a result of their complaints and what they identify as a problem, when they refer it out to the LA County, what they end up deciding and how they end up approaching. Bottom line, I'm not hiding it. I just want to make sure that we have proper enforcement and that we have our streets clean and we don't have things building up. I'm going to talk about that at the end in my report. So if you could just do whatever you can and just give us a proper.
Oh, well, for today, this is a introduction of the ordinance.
Through the chair.
Yes, sir.
Okay, the other thing that I want to remind all our residents that back in 2019, we negotiated with the Republican Service to go from 3 bulk items to 20 bulk item pickup a year on your residence, right? So you don't have to put those bulky items on the street and leave them there. You can just call the 1-800 number for Republic, and they will tell you when to put the bulky item on the street, and they'll come and pick it up the next day. So the residents have 20 bulk items per residence a year, because before it was only 3. They have 20. So make sure that they are doing this, because this resolution is for those contractors that it's coming to our cities, dumping stuff on the alleys, and some others, even on some street, they just dump it everywhere. So the residents has resources. They don't have to put those bulky items on the street, because that's one of the things that I force Republican Service to include in our contract, to give people at least 20 bulk items instead of 3 a year. So thank you.
Thank you, sir. I move to introduce City Manager's consent calendar. Madam Clerk, the agenda reflects you have items 5 through 7 on the City Manager's consent calendar. Can you please proceed by introducing each item into the record, please?
Item 5, agreement between the City of Hawthorne and American Wholesale Lighting for Police Department Lighting Project. Item 6, second amendment to the consultant agreement for design services. Second amendment between the City of Hawthorne, City, and Office Untitled Consultant. Item 7, increased investment in 1 through 5 year tiered fixed investments through multi-bank securities. Mr. Mayor, that concludes the City Manager's consent calendar. May I have a motion to approve items 5 through 7?
Yes, ma'am?
To the chair. Thank you, Mayor. Can we pull 6 for discussion, please?
Okay. I move on item 5 and 7. Items
Second.
5 and 7, please.
Second.
Thank you.
The votes are in.
Discussion on 6.
Voter reflects mayor and council voting yes.
Sorry, ma'am. Discussion on 6.
Thank you, Mayor. So the agenda that I have says a second amendment to the consultant agreement for design services, second amendment between the City of Hawthorne City and Office Untitled Consultant. So what's the name of the consultant? That's my question. I know it's not Office Untitled, is it? Okay.
Correct name would be Office United.
Okay, thank you. Can we just make sure that we have an amendment to show that and to assure that that's what we're voting on? Thank you, that's it.
I'll make a move. I'll make a motion with the interdelineation
Thank you,
of
and I'll
Office United.
Thank you, Mayor, and I'll second.
Okay. Please vote.
The votes are in.
Okay.
The voting reflects mayor and council voting yes.
Thank you, Ms. City Clerk. But now we will go to the City Attorney's consent calendar. Madam Clerk, the agenda reflects you have items 8 through 12 on the City Attorney's consent calendar. Can you please proceed by entering those into the record, please?
Item 8, claim for bodily injury by Steve Hibbert. Recommended motion, staff recommends that the City Council deny the claim by Stephen Hibbert. Item 9, claim for personal injury by Carlos Montenegro. Recommended motion, staff recommends that the City Council deny the claim by Carlos Montenegro. Item 10, a second claim for bodily injury by Carlos Montenegro. Recommended motion, staff recommends that the City Council deny the claim by Carlos Montenegro. Item 11, claim for bodily injury by Telly Gay Jr. Recommended motion, staff recommends that the City Council deny the claim by Telly Gay Jr. Item 12, claim for bodily injury by Luis Adrian Martin Blanket. Staff recommends that the City Council deny the claim by Luis Adrian Marin Blanket. Mr. Mayor, that concludes the City Attorney's consent calendar. May I have a motion to approve items 8 through 12?
Second.
Yeah, I made the motion, and my mic was off. Seconded by Councilwoman Angie Reyes English.
I got you.
Please vote.
The votes are in. The voting reflects mayor and council voting yes.
Discussion items, Mayor Pro Tem, City Manager's Employment Agreement, please. Item 13.
Hello?
Yes.
Thank you, Mayor. I bought this back because I wanted to amend our city manager's employment agreement. Wanted to talk about giving him an increase. I think we all are familiar with this information, and so I just wanted to get, I guess, the consensus from my colleagues on increasing our city manager's current employment agreement.
Yeah. No, I really appreciate this. I think, yeah, an employment agreement amendment is encompassing. There might be other details. I know Council Member Alex Montero has dealt with some even recent negotiations in somebody's contract in an outside agency recently. So I would like to maybe move on this and have him maybe coordinate this with the city manager
The negotiations.
on this item.
I agree.
Since he's familiar with something recently, which was I don't want to say challenging, but it was pretty in depth, right? So would you be able to do that for us, sir?
I'll support.
Yes, I'll be honored to do that.
Okay.
Thank you.
Right.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem Manning.
Thank you.
Mhm.
And it goes without saying that that our city manager, Vaughn Norris, is doing an outstanding job. Remember, I always said that he was going to have 50 years. So right now he's on the 46 years
40
left. And we're hoping just to make sure we keep him and we don't lose him to another city. And I also say that because, you know, our city previously has, there's been a lot of, turnover in our office. And it's not sometimes because of the managers who we have had previously, their liking. So I think stability is an indicator of a successful city. And I believe that everybody here has an opportunity to talk to him and work through things with him. I think a good characteristic is sometimes when a manager or somebody above you will tell you no on something because, you know, it's an indication that they're safeguarding the city, but there's always possible ways of working things out. So we really appreciate you, City Manager Vaughn Trey Norris. Let's give him a round of applause.
Thank you, Mayor Vargas. Thank you, Mayor Pro Temp. Thank you, Council. Appreciate your leadership and assisting me and bringing the city to the front. I tell my team, not my staff, my team, that we are the best city in the South Bay, and we're going to be the best city in California. That's my goal, and that's where we're going to go.
And yeah. I was up in the Independent Cities Association conference, and one of the things that, you know, so a lot of the people up there were asking, hey, where's your city manager, Mr. Norris? They call him Mr. Norris. Where's your city manager? You know, I mean, they look up to him. You know, there's a lot of things we're doing here that, you know, they want to tap into the knowledge. So we're willing to share, but we got to be protective of how we do some good things here too, right? So it's my item. 14, elected officials expense allotments for city business related activities. Last time I had mentioned it during my closing reports, but I wanted to put it on here just so that we could ideally move on it. And it comes to the committee assignments. There are committee assignments that we have that, say for example, Independent Cities Association, I'm the lead delegate. Then there's an alternate. Then we have people that are part of the League of California Cities that might need to go up to Sacramento to represent us. And and such, and then there's local conferences that some of us need to go to. But you're, as a delegate and an alternate, that's already covered under one pot. So whatever the expenses are, being mindful and, conscious of how we, that we're very reasonable, is a different pot. And that's not the pot that I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is the elective choice of going to a conference to make those connections, to make those, to get those resources, to educate ourselves. One of the things that we say is we want to bring in business and we want to do all these things. We can only do that if we're the main proponents of our city. I mean, I strongly believe that, we could get somebody, hey, we could get the Joe Blow to kind of go do it. But as elected officials, I really think that we're the ones that could promote our city and draw people to have a meeting with our city manager, take a look at our city to set up shop here. And for those reasons, the cost of going to a conference, whether in California or outside, has risen a lot. It was before you could kind of go to you could squeeze something out for $1,500 at the most. Now it's up to $2,000 and more. But definitely, and we've always had that requirement that when we come back from these conferences, and I think 3 of us will probably report out today. We're supposed to report out, and we're supposed to let the community what we learn and what the contacts made and what the resources are that we're bringing back. That's how we prove to the community that it was something that was worth. So I'd like to make to propose that we move from 3,000 to 5,000, and I think that's a sufficient enough move.
I support that.
So, Mr. Mayor, there in the agenda bill for this discussion action, there's categories. Which of the item are you right now moving to increase?
Oh, Mr. City Manager, can you help me out with that? Because I
want to make a correction. If I provide you the wrong information, I do apologize. The current stipend for travel for council members is $4,000 currently.
Elective.
Yes, council members, the 5 council members.
Okay, the elective, like the conferences that we choose to go to that are not our committee assignments, correct?
Yes, and if you're a delegate for those conferences, the current stipend is $1,500.
Okay, I want to move that to 5,000, and I want to make sure that line item for the committees is whatever the cost needs to be, because sometimes some things are going to exceed the 1,500.
We would need to know the exact.
What's your feedback, sir? I'm always willing to listen.
With your recommendation of $1,000 for the conference travel, I would recommend maybe $500 for the delegate travel, which would bring that to $2,000.
Can I ask you something?
Yes, absolutely.
Do you think that's a sufficient amount to raise the committee travel? What you're saying is we can't leave it open-ended?
No, we
need to have
cannot.
like a number assigned to it.
Yes, we would.
And
have
from
to.
your experience, adding a 500 would be able to cover those.
Well, I'd like to offer
committee
this:
assignments?
that we have our budget hearing coming up in May. That we have a few more months till then. I say we increase the delegate travel, the $500, to bring it to $2,000. If we see a need where it needs to be increased, we can budget for it in the 25-26 fiscal year budget.
Okay, and then okay, so the elective conference travel, if you could move it up 1,000 to 5,000, it would help us a lot.
Do we have a consensus to move forward with that?
Through the chair.
Sir, there was
Yeah.
Is there still a second?
Yeah, so
There's still a second.
we're doing discussion, right?
Yes, of course.
Well, I have to say that, we have to be conscious, right? Because I think $4,000, it's still a lot of money. And we have to be much more selective which conference that we go. And because most of the time, conference should be, particularly, for us, to bring business and other stuff. Most of these conferences in California or in Vegas, for example. But we need to be much more conscious about going outside of this area, and also be mindful that the stipend for conference does not include rent-a-cars or insurance, okay? Because the specifically guidelines from the state and the federal government you're supposed to be is miles, or you go to airport, you take a shuttle or you take a Uber now, or you should take a taxi, and then it would be reimbursed. But it would never to rent a car, pay for parking, and have to pay for liability insurance. Those was not part of the travel package that was put in place by the legislator. You have to keep in mind on that issue. So to me, right now, because now we're going to be end up June 30th is the end of the fiscal year. So if we're going to increase amount for the other travel, we should maybe thinking about when we are presented with a budget for 25-26 to see what our revenues is coming from. If we're seeing an increase in revenue, a decrease in revenue, because the economy is going south. The consumer report today show a bleak economy. So when people start shopping, sales tax will decrease, and the consumer confidence is going down the drain. So we should be careful because we don't see too many revenues, additional revenues coming to Hawthorne in the near future, and then especially with the federal government trying to cut all this money, we should be looking into our budget before we increase travel. That's my opinion.
No, you know what? Okay, I'm listening very carefully, and I want to be mindful of what you're saying too. Right now we have a mileage reimbursement. Okay, so we do have mileage reimbursement. So that's using our car.
Yeah, using your car.
Your car. That's mileage reimbursement.
You drive for Vegas or San Francisco, for example, or even you fly to San Francisco. If I drive to Santa Barbara, you can submit your reimbursement for miles, and there is a flat fee from that we
If you're interested in looking and somebody taking a look at the cost of car rental versus taking Uber versus driving your own car, I think it's worth taking a look. If the city attorney can have somebody maybe in his office take a look at that, then we could just put that issue to rest.
Yeah, because when I go to San Francisco, for example, or even Vegas, I fly there, but then I take a Uber or a shuttle to take me to the hotel. I don't rent a car.
No, and then I guess it's a matter of preference from our colleagues up here, and I don't want to restrict them, but I also think we should be mindful. And it's what you brought up was something worth considering, and just taking a look at it.
So these amounts are the cap for council members.
Correct.
So we don't need to go into detail of how it's going to be split up, but these are just parameters that the council can set that you can use. If you don't fully use $5,000, then
it doesn't get used.
Yes.
And sometimes some of us are not going to do it. Sometimes we do have the opportunities. I mean, bottom line is, these have to be these have to be something that you could bring something back to the community, to the city. It can't just be going like, I'm sorry, I don't want to invoke anything from the past. Some misuse of travel funds, and it was just kind of just to go hang out in Vegas and go hang out in New York and San Francisco. Let's just leave that as that, right? Or in D.C. So, and nothing came back. There's nobody reporting out. So I just really want to highlight that if we're going to move forward with this, that we got to report out like we should be, even for our committee assignments today. We got to report out once we come back. Okay?
And it has to be city business related. So right now we have a motion and a second for increase in travel allotment to 5,000.
Travel and incidental allotment to 5,000.
Yes, and to increase the committee assignment expenses up to 2,000.
Yeah, I didn't mean incidental, but the conference-related expenses.
And we vote separate on those?
You could, yes.
But I think we have it on the same one.
I want to vote separate.
We already made the motion, though. I don't know if
the first and second was for collectively. Are you willing to withdraw
the motion? And do it separate?
I'm not
I'm not sure why we would do it separately.
Okay, so a motion.
Okay, let's vote.
Let's just vote.
Let's vote.
Okay.
The votes are in. The voting reflects mayor and council voting yes, Alex Montero voting no.
Okay. All right, thanks, guys. Item 15, Councilmember Johnson, please.
Thank you. I'm just bringing an idea forward to get support from the council. A little while ago, I was presented with what we used to do here. I'm not sure. I've never seen it. I haven't been here that long. But there used to be an opportunity for like a birthday cake for the council, and they would come ahead of time. And so the residents are missing that contact that we had before. So my suggestion to kill two birds with one stone and try to help out our businesses is to do a meet and greet 5:30 to 6 and set up the atrium where we'll have 2 or 3 restaurants, drink businesses to come and give away samples, give us an opportunity to do some conversating and socializing with the community, and then also do have a couple of businesses that are just services so that they can advertise. And to flesh this out a little bit more, to also give them an opportunity to be in our newsletter, how they supported us during the for the city council meeting. So have photography there, highlight them, put them on the TV, on our news channel also. And I did talk to Ron Sokol with the Daily Breeze, I believe he's with, and he's willing to do highlights on them also. So it would give them an incentive to come and share their food and their services with us, because we'll be able to highlight them. So that's, to me, that's a win-win on that one for us. We get to socialize with the community, and then we also get to do a little mini taste of Hawthorne on Tuesday nights. And along with that, I wanted to, Ron Sokol also years ago wrote an article about a Yum Award for the local food businesses in the area. And I was thinking more along the lines of maybe a Yummy Award. And we'd have to tease that out maybe twice a year, give out a Yummy Award. And we'd have to tease that out to figure out what the criteria would be and stuff like that. So this is kind of a two-prong ask of the council for support, one to do the meet and greet, and one to work a little bit on the restaurant award for the city of Hawthorne.
Can I just go first on this? I think it's a great idea. And well, the problem that I had when the problem that I had was that we would have a council meeting and that we would break during the council meeting to do this stuff before. That was problematic because we wanted to get to the city business, and everybody's going outside, doing a cake for somebody, and it's just, that's not the purpose of a council meeting. But if you could just hug the meeting from right up front with an event, I think it's proper. One thing moving forward for a lot of things, that we do as a group is like, let's try it out. Let's see how it turns out. And I'm pretty sure that we'll have some success with this. So a question, I don't want to ask this. How do you envision this being carried out and organized? That's something that you would like to maybe set the things in motion, or if you don't mind my asking.
I would take the brunt of it, because I don't have a problem with that, because it'd give me an opportunity to get into the community and hear from the businesses. So I would set up the calendar 6 months to a year in advance. And the incentive would be their business is going to be publicized. And if you're like me, I'll go to a meeting, but if there's free food, I actually show up on time.
And of course, you're going to be taking recommendations and leads from every single one of us, right?
Of course.
And it'll make it easier for you, so
Yes.
yeah, right?
To the chair?
Yes.
Okay, so yes, in years past, when council colleagues, mayor, had birthdays, we had assistance from staff to set up a table outside with refreshments and a cake. And then there was photography, and then there was, meet and greet, right? Especially when there's those that are attending in council that want to speak to one of the members prior to a council meeting. So that's ideal. When you start going into setting up a sense of tabling and food and all this other stuff, my concern is staff time, staff's ability to set up, because they're off initially at 5:30. Is that correct? Yes, they're off initially at 5:30. So realistically speaking, they could set it up at 5:30 or at 5 o'clock and then be gone by 5:30. The reason some might stick around is because they're doing that out of their own time. So I want to be aware of staff time and what type of task or workload that would include on 2 Tuesdays in the month, maybe 1 Tuesday in the month, possibly. I just think it's a lot of work, but if you're going to take the lead, great. You could take it and run with it. You're going to need help, but I would just be cautious on what that looks like. I'm all for meet and greet before a council meeting at 5:30. Keep in mind, not all council members would be able to attend each and every time, because some folks don't get off work until 5 o'clock, and then travel time, and by the time they get here, it's usually by 5:45 or so. So just be aware of that. Meet and greets have been happening a lot. Just look at Business Connect. They're our meet and greet hospitality team for businesses. And so if there's something that we're trying to coordinate, I would leave that up to Vaughn's discretion on what that best looks like, and go from there. But I wouldn't necessarily agree to doing 2, per month, maybe 1, but that's my 2 cents.
Hello? Councilwoman English, I swear you were reading my mind. I was thinking the exact same thing about staff, the work that it require on staff. And I've been to some of the events that we've had outside in the lobby area, and it's a lot of work. And I was just thinking, like, they're tired already, and to actually do this, I think it's a lot. I think it's a great idea, but I do agree with her in regards to if you took it on and not have staff do that extra work. I think we have, 38 projects in the pipeline, and I just feel like they have enough with those projects and all the events that we're having as well. And so the other thing that definitely came to my mind is that I know for a fact that I wouldn't be able to attend every single meet and greet, because not every single time I'm here at 5:30. And so I love meet and greet too. I mean, I could go on and on and on just talking and eating food for free. But I couldn't, commit to being here each time. And maybe I was thinking maybe every other month, and I would be willing to help you put it together or come and assist you with it every other month. That's my 2 cents.
Through the chair.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I believe, it's a great idea, to tell you the truth, especially to bring business for the Taste of Hawthorne. I think it's fantastic. Even I was going to say, let's start at 5, right? Because 5:30 to 6, time go fast, especially if you got assembly all this food. Half an hour would not be enough. So, and then it's going to be under discretion if this council member wants to be here, right? So, because I see, just put some tables out, and then people bring their food, and they clean up after themselves. I think it could work, and I'll say let's try it. Right? It's no problem. Let's try to see how it goes. I do agree, maybe a little bit that maybe once a month could be the ideal, but we can try, twice a month and then figure out how it goes, or even once a month. But I think it's a great idea. because I love that idea to bring business, to showcase their food, their product, and then also that Yummy Award. I agree totally about that. So I love to cook. So so when it comes down,
No, you do. Steak
so
and
when
fish,
it comes down,
man.
and I'm telling you, yeah, people love food, and you make a lot of connection with people, especially. It will give us a chance to talk with the business, especially the restaurant, to say, what is going, everything is going well, what you need. So it's a network. So I think it's a fantastic idea. So let's try it.
So just a quick comment. I think it's good considerations, et cetera. I mean, when it comes to staff helping for events, I mean, come on, that's a different discussion that we don't want to open up that discussion. But staff steps out and does a lot on their own time. Not necessarily on their own time, but on their own time, and just goes up above and beyond to help us out with events. So for all of us, you guys know it, okay, guys? So that I don't know about that being brought up like that, but like I said in the beginning, I think that giving it a good opportunity for it to work. Of course, that's why I asked that in the beginning: who's going to lead the effort? Who's going to coordinate it? Who's going to do it? And like I said, like I haven't said, but the frequency of it will adjust itself as the organization of it keeps going on. Maybe quickly you find out that you can have it the two times a month. Maybe you'll find out that it could only be once a month or every other month. We don't know. How many restaurants do we have in the community that we could justify having three, a meeting, or maybe 3 a month, or and having them come, and then maybe one day none of them come or something. So that's like a logistical effort that I would like to maybe give it an opportunity, and if she can make something like that happen, and if with minimal involvement from staff. Which I think that's what you're intending anyways, right? It's not like you want to lean on them, right? You probably have volunteers that could help, set
And
up.
I did sit down and talk to Vaughn about it, so.
So I'd just like to maybe give it an opportunity, and I think we're all, just like I shared my concerns about a couple other things earlier today, I think it's good that you guys did. Okay.
So clarification for the consensus is to move forward with meet and greet at 5:30 to 6. We didn't agree on the frequency of it, but we'll just start the process.
I think, yeah, and then quickly we'll find out, and we'll hear that if it's possible, and you just project.
Okay.
So is the time 5 or 5:30 for
I don't
clarity?
know. How much do you think
I'm
you
sorry,
really need?
what was that?
Let's try 5:30 at first. And the staff can eat too. You guys are welcome to. I had already assumed the staff was going to eat.
You didn't mention that.
I didn't exclude them saying, no, don't feed any staff. No, it's an opportunity for the businesses to shine, share their food, share what they do for our community, and to be highlighted by us so that we can, one of the questions was, what are we going to do for our businesses to, business retention and to keep them? To have something like this where, we're highlighting them, and the most that I need staff to do is put the tables out for me, I think the benefit far outweighs, and plus you get to eat.
Yeah. And this, I think this is actually very helpful, and I just thought about it, and I thought about it previously, I just didn't mention it. It'll tell us what our climate is with regards to our restaurants and businesses, and just to see how open they are for outreach, because we always say that we're not helping them promote their businesses, but what if they they're a hindrance to themselves? We're going to find that out too, right? Okay.
Definitely. And no, you cannot get the Yummy Award.
Item 16.
Item 16, real quick, I was just wanting to get the consensus of the council. The League of Cities, California Cities, is developing a veterans committee, and they need at least 50 cities to sign on in support, and I'm asking that Hawthorne be one of those cities.
Is this a new veterans committee?
Yes, they don't have one right now.
Do they know that we have one, and we're probably one of the few cities that
Yes.
has one? I think we're the only city around here, right?
Right, but there, in all fairness, the roundtable that I sat at, There's cities do a lot for their veterans. They just don't have a Veterans Affairs Commission.
Well, I think maybe we need to change out some of the, well, I'm sorry. I think we really gotta make sure that the Veterans Commission is, doing what they need to do and not just focusing on things that are outside of the city. That will be helpful for us to be able to identify who is a veteran. All right, that's the focus, and interacting with our veterans, not just everybody else, and taking on federal issues and state issues, dealing with our veterans. I think we need to maybe just
And I foresee being able to bring a lot of those ideas back to the city.
Okay, through the chair. So you will be the delegate to that committee, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so I say move on.
Concur.
What does this entail, though? Is there a cost
No.
associated with this?
No, because we already pay our League of Cities fees every year.
So basically, we're just agreeing to just be a part of this. That's it?
We're agreeing that the League of California Cities needs a veterans committee because they have legislative committee, housing committees, all kind of different committees. And the veterans within the League of California Cities wants to start a veterans committee. It doesn't cost any money, though.
So the membership, it won't be a cost for membership to be a part of it?
We're already a member of the League of California Cities.
Right, I get that, but I'm saying you're starting a new committee.
It's like
and
a
so-
subcommittee underneath.
Okay.
Yeah, so there's no cost.
It's basically committee assignments that we do. So she's asking to be assigned to the Veterans Committee through the League of Cities.
Got it.
Actually, just a point of clarification, that's not what I was asking. What I'm asking is that we support the establishment of the Veterans Affairs Committee, because they don't have one yet. And so they need 50 cities to sign on to agree that we want this committee established. And then once it's established, then yes, I'm asking to be on that committee.
Right.
Would this require,
Do we need a
for
motion?
Point of clarification, would
Yeah.
it need, would it require a city resolution or just
No,
approval?
sir. I just have to sign this form that says Hawthorne supports
Okay.
the establishment of this committee.
If you need additional signatures, I'm willing to put mine, if you
Thank
needed
you.
that.
Or letter from letterhead. I agree.
Do we have concurrence from all council members or somebody?
Yeah.
I
Thank
think
you.
it's a good thing, yeah. Oh, wonderful. Oh, it's 7:30. Oof. Oh, wow. We have elected officials' reports and recommendations. We'll begin with the city treasurer. City Treasurer Poindexter, Hornbach.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for coming out, being a part of the process. Thank you all for approving my item. I hope you all read the theory behind my request. I just wanted to point out that in years 27 and 28 and 30, the city will not be receiving as much interest income those particular years. So my strategy was to ladder out the 10 million over the next 5 years to try to account to bring in some income in those years where there's not going to be much interest coming due on our securities. So thank you for that. That was really, like I said, that's just smart investing at this time. Like I keep saying, the rates are at 20-year highs. Rates are still trending between 4.75 and 5%. Like I said last time, the Fed is not going to probably mess with rates till around September, sometimes during the last quarter of the year or the third quarter. They're a little busy with their hands full with other stuff. So the likelihood of them messing with rates right now is sort of put off at the moment. So my thing is, if just a simple thing, if you have money to invest, now's the great time to catch these rates because it's a good time to lock them in, and that's just smart investing, whether it's a CD or a bond. Let's see. Oh, kudos to the city of Gardena. They did a great MLK parade last week. It was really nice. I was there to attend. I also attended the LAIF seminar on 313 regarding the economic outlook. And I attended the Metropolitan Water Summit, which was held in conjunction with the FBI, 319 and 320. Even though we're a part of West Basin's district, it was still a really interesting a seminar to attend. It was 2 days, but it was interesting nevertheless. I also completed my certification with the GIOA, so now I am a certified investment professional. Thank you very much. Yes, that's, yeah. So that was nice to complete that. That was a huge task as far as the class was concerned. So thank you, everyone. Thank you for coming out, and see you next time.
Go ahead, our city clerk.
Thanks, everyone, for coming out. I want to remind everyone that this Friday is our Black History Month celebration, where we will be honoring many of our impactful African-American, or shall we say, our heroes here in Hawthorne. Just want to make sure everybody knows about it. The flyer's out front, so if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to give a call. And also want to check in with everybody if you have had any issues with receiving your agenda. I've gotten mine every time we publish it. It comes to my email. If anyone wants to subscribe and you have any issues at all with that, please don't hesitate to give the city clerk's office a call, and we will help you with that. Reminding everyone that we have notary services in the clerk's office as well, so if you need that, please don't hesitate to call and make an appointment. Thank you all so much, and see you next time.
Councilmember Alex Montero.
Thank you, Madam. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for coming. Thank you for listening to us at home. First, I want to say that the study session was a fantastic, we could say, workshop study session. But it's definitely that's something that we need to bring some experts into our mix to make sure that our economic development is going forward in prosper. So I want to give a directive to Vaughn to go ahead and come up with a contract with the Cosmo for economic development consultant team, okay? That's the first one. The other, I mentioned about that we're going to have an autism walk on April 26th. And one of the individual that is part of that committee is our own police department sergeant, Jerome. And he brought this fantastic idea that I want the blessing of the council, that I want us to approve for him to give us a presentation next meeting about this special needs sticker program, right? So if a family in Hawthorne, for example, have a special needs child, there will be a sticker that will be put on their window or their door. So if the police goes there, or the code enforcement, or the housing department goes there for an inspection, they will identify that a special needs child lives in that address. Because I don't know if you guys remember that it was on the news a few months ago, or even last year too, about law enforcement and special needs child and autism kid, blah, 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 blah. So I want us to put on the agenda for presentation from Sergeant Jerome to give us that presentation about the sticker program, because it's involved also for us to create a form that the family will fill out. So, but I want this to be a city-wide program that is not just the HPD, the police department, but the housing department can use it, the code enforcement, the public works, everyone goes out there that interact with the family and can fill out that form and give them a sticker. So Jerome will be here next meeting to give us a presentation. So I appreciate if you guys say yes, okay?
That's a great idea.
Yeah, thank you. The other directive that I want to give to Vaughn is to look at the to look at the building and safety department, because I know we have a few staff there and we need somebody on the desk that can answer the phones and can schedule appointments, can tell them what to do with the building and safety permits and some other issues. Okay, because I know the building and safety is not completely staffed, so at least we can put somebody there at the desk that can answer the phones. Because when people call, the phone keep ringing and ringing and ringing. So, okay, so that's something that I want us to do. And for the March 28th meeting, I would love to have a proclamation for the American Red Cross because it's the annual celebration, is the American Red Cross month. So I want us to give a proclamation to our local chapter that is around here on March 28th, not the 11th, not the meeting at the 11th. The meeting on the 11th is the special presentation from our Sergeant Jerome.
It's the
okay?
25th.
Oh, the 25th. Oh, see, I'm going gaga. Okay, so quick reminder that the South Bay COG, the South Bay City Government is having their 25th General Assembly. That's going to be on March 27 from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. at the Carson Community Center. So again, it's March 27, and everyone is invited to go to that assembly, and they celebrating, the 25 year of service. So that will be a good one. And also, I mentioned that on April 12, we're going to have the Providers Fair, and with the bunny and Easter egg hunt, so all kind of goods. We're going to have a lot of prizes giveaway, right? And then also, like I said, on April 26th is going to be the Autism Walk at the Eucalyptus Park, and it's been scheduled that. And also, for those of you who knew our former council member Pablo Caetano that used to sit right over there, or where Ms. Johnson is, we're going to celebrate his life on March 20th from 3 to 5 p.m. at the Betty Ainsworth Sports Center in one of the classrooms there. So from 3 to 5 p.m., we will have some light refreshment, and we're going to celebrate Pablo Caetano's life because he was a devoted community civic guy, did a lot for the city, and we deserve to celebrate his life. So March 20 at 3 p.m. And unfortunately, on March 15, I'm not going to be able to do the cleanup because I'm going to be in a conference up to the Yosemite National Park. Okay, so I'm not going to be there. So again, thank you. And the chief, thank you for the monthly newsletter. Again, excellent data, and I appreciate the newsletter give us some statistics, some information about how your department is very busy. And thank you for all those all the captain for all those emails this past weekend of the incident that happened. So thank you very much, and God bless you all, and have a good night.
Okay. Councilwoman Faye Johnson, sorry about that.
That's okay. Thank you, guys. Thank you to the Minority Psychology Network. Thank you very much for your presentation. Also, the Small Business Administration, thank you for your support and sharing the resources. The Small Business Administration has a lot of resources. I get their emails constantly, and I'm always sending them out to different businesses that I think can benefit from what they offer. Also, I'd like to report out on the homeless count that we had the other night. It was really enlightening, and Dulce did a great job putting everything together, and the police department was there. We got, myself and Olivia and my daughter, we got to ride around with Lieutenant Saldana, and it was just very enlightening to see a lot of these communities at night and how to spot homelessness when you and being able to recognize it. So I'm looking forward to those numbers to see where Hawthorne is at. But thanks to Dulce and anyone else, any other of our staff that participated in that, thank you very much. Thank you to the council for supporting me on the meet and greet and the Yummy Award and the Veteran Committee. I appreciate that a lot. Also, the 311 app does work, and it kudos to Vaughn and his team because they are constantly upgrading it and making it better, making it easier to work with. There are times when you want to have a conversation with city staff and with the council, and that's fine. But just realize that 311 app works really well. And it also gives us the data we need. One, you have a record that you submitted your request through the 311 app, and you're not haven't left a message that you hope somebody gets or a conversation that somebody forgets. You actually have proof that you did that, and then we have data on the back end to where we can track and trend those numbers. That's where we're headed with this program, is to be able to use it to know if we get a lot of graffiti calls in a certain area, is this an area that the police need to patrol more often? Dumping, illegal dumping, if we get enough of those in a certain area, what do we need to do to make it better for the residents? But if we don't have that data because no one's using the 311 app or they're not even calling it in, they're just living with it, then we can't help because we can't do what we don't know. So it helps us to help you guys when you use the 311 app. Also, I'd like to give a shout out to Vaughn again. We might as well just get him a crown. But he did send out an email to us to clarify the Southern California Edison rates, that they really have nothing to do with us here at the city. Our rate, which is a utility tax of 5%, has been that since 2008, and it hasn't increased. So any increase on your bills, just to let you guys know, and those who are watching, that's Southern California Edison. And what some people may not know, Southern California Edison, when there's a fire, the Public Utilities Commission allows them to turn around and tack that onto your bill. They don't do that for private electricity anymore. They used to, but anything that insurance doesn't cover for private energy, they have to cover that bill themselves. And so that's why we have these public service shutdowns. It's usually not because they're trying to help you guys out, but because they don't want to have to pay that extra $300 million that their insurance doesn't cover when your house burns down. So they'll turn off the electricity when they see that the winds are getting high or a potential fire, and that's in the private energy industry. But for the public, they don't do that. Your house burns down. Now guess what? Everybody gets to pay for that. So that's part of why your rates are higher. But if you really want to know all the facts, just call them. They'll be able to help you. And I also want to thank Vaughn again and Greg for, during the break in between the two meetings, they answered some of the questions that I've been getting from the residents over on 118th Street and Inglewood. The place over there, they're in the process of getting their permits. Once they come in with the permits and the planning, they'll know what's going on, and they'll be able to report back to us what is going on in that area. And again, thank you guys for being here. Like I was saying earlier, you hold us accountable. When you don't show up, who's keeping their eye on us? So we appreciate when you're here. We appreciate when you're not here, you're at least watching, and we get your input, because your input is very important. It's your community. We work for you. So have a good evening.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Councilwoman Angie Reyes English, please.
Thank you, Mayor. Let me just first make mention of some upcoming events. We have our spring event, Service Provider Fair Earth Day, April 12th. I look forward to working on getting the DJ and the bikes as previously done in previous years, some 17 years now. I'd like to also include the Minority Psychology Network for tabling the event. Please include them. Community cleanup endeavors along with the mayor on Saturday, March 15th from 8 to 12 noon. All these flyers should be in the lobby, and I hope they're being replenished so that folks could have an idea of the many events that we have here in the city. Kudos to our city clerk with regards to the Black History Month social event that we're going to have Friday, February 28th from 4 to 6. You're also welcome to attend the Minority, again, Psychology Network. The groundbreaking ceremony, I'm excited for that, which is Friday, March 14th, 9 a.m. at Crenshaw Village. This is the facade programs that we've offered to businesses to apply for so that they could have their beautifications made to their properties. And so this has been one that has long time coming. So I look forward to attending that. This past weekend, attended the Contract Cities and had an ability to partner with Larry Cosmont one-on-one on discussions with regards to economic endeavors here in the city of Hawthorne. There was also great panelists that spoke on emergency preparedness, and I can't express enough how important that is also a priority in the work that I have made and will continue to push for, that we need to ultimately implement an individual to oversee our emergency preparedness. But going back to economic development, there was great information, Vaughn, that was captured through many great ideas, including the value with zoning. And today's presentation that was presented today by Ken just pretty much hit the head on the nail there, the nail with the head, whatever you want to call it. But let me tell you, it was exactly what we've been looking for. I do ask, Vaughn, that you please implement a TOT strategy or any other strategies that we need to look at and work collectively with Greg to include strategies for zoning changes and those recommendations to start these efforts. Folks know that we're getting a new city hall, underground parking. The cosmetics of our city is changing, and we need to be able to change along with that through a lot of ideas and efforts. And if it is that Cosmont is selected to help in these endeavors, I totally support that. I also want to make mention that I'd like to see reporting out from Dulce with regards to the outreach center, the intake center, where she does outreach efforts to assist those in need, and also to report out on the homeless count. That's all important, along with police, to also report out on housing matters that they're facing and the stats on those assistance that are needed and or have been offered through partnerships along with Dulce, telehealth, and other resources. And just to add to that, my hope for the Minority Psychology Network assisting in those efforts. The more, the better, and I look forward to that. I also would like to let's see. We had a lot of discussion today on business endeavors. I just want to commend again Business Connect for what they continue to do to outreach to our business community, for the ribbon cuttings that we have, for the partnerships in discussing concerns that they may have in just streamlining the processes, which are all important. I know there's a lot that we have, and Mayor Pro Tem Manning's correct, over 30-some projects that the city is working on. That just goes to show how we're on one accord in assuring that the Hawthorne is just building out, and again, we can't control people coming in, but just to be ready for that. I look forward to attending our South Bay Work Investment Board seminar this coming Thursday. There's 2 sessions, one in the morning, one in the afternoon, so that South Bay, Jan Vogel can talk to us about things that are happening in his endeavors, where South Bay Investment Board concerns are. And wow, let's see. A lot of things that were done here today, and all great discussion items, all great recommendations and patience. So with that, Robert, thank you for helping with direction on just assuring we're on point and staying on point. Vaughn, you were missed at our last conference we had over the weekend. We had a couple women asking for you, but that's another issue.
Yeah,
I second that.
But let me just say,
this is on tape, man.
It's okay. We have we have very many handsome men around here. That's okay. But yes, and let me just finish by just acknowledging and congratulating Councilmember Patterson on his recent graduation, his doctorate degree. Let's give it up to Mr. Patterson. I briefly saw you online getting robed and getting your degree, so congratulations. That's amazing. And kudos to you. I know that's a long endeavor just to pursue that. And it should be acknowledged. And so thank you for all your work that you're doing and continuing doing. To all of our city departments, you know, I would be remiss. Again, we look good when issues are being addressed quickly, from dumping to trash to bulky items to just a number of issues, street lighting. And there is a street light that was out, and I think that was already addressed on Rosecrans, just one block before Crenshaw. The light had been out for several days, and I saw it on Sunday that it was still out. So just want to thank you guys for all that you do. It is a long day, a long night sometimes, but at the end of the day, we have a great team that gets it and knows that the priority for all of us is to move the city forward, and however we do that in the best interest of the people, and to be able to provide services. We've come a long way. I think Mayor would agree. Up and recently, we didn't have the number of partnerships that we have with regards to services and programs, referrals, housing, shelter housing. I mean, we looked at this 10 years ago, we didn't have this. And it's a great need, and it's going to continue to grow again. There are cities, neighboring cities and communities that oftentimes push out their issues, which are sometimes homeless issues, to neighboring communities, and sometimes we get the blunt of that. And it's unfair, but we can't do a tit for tat. We have to really provide a service, and so that's what we need to do, is just to address the issue at that time and provide whatever help we can. But yeah, working collectively with different council members throughout the region, sitting on committees, participating and engaging in what's working for them in their cities are important for all of us. And that's how we get things done. I enjoy just attending conferences and being able to see what other cities are doing. And it's said each and every time that the city of Hawthorne is doing a lot. And it goes to show, because we're being looked at and asked about different things that we're doing, especially to address our mental health, behavioral health, and how we've taken that on, and including that homelessness. So with that, thank you, everyone. Thank you, Vaughn. Look forward to the negotiations that Councilman Montero is going to be having with you, and continue to push, again, on Business Connect. We need more Business Connect opportunities for businesses to come and partner, and new businesses, and I think that's all the time. And it would be nice to know exactly how many businesses, if there's some new numbers for us for the beginning of this year, just to know how many new ones have come in and how many have gone out. And if we have a reason for why folks chose to leave, that would be great to know too. But yep, that's it. Thanks, Mayor.
Thank you. Mayor Pro Tem Katrina Manning.
Thank you so much, Mayor. I just want to start off by saying, Alex Montero, the idea of having a sticker for special need and autism, it's an amazing idea. So often when I'm watching the news and I see situations where special needs or folks that have autism have been arrested or abused because they wasn't aware, just knowing that our city have come up with such a great idea, I am so proud. We are always doing something that I'm just truly, truly proud of. So I look forward to that presentation. I'm really, truly excited. I support that 100%. Also, I am very excited about our current relationship with Cosmo. I can't wait to see what's going to come out of that. Part of why I ran for office was economic development. So to see this come full circle and to see that we're going to be doing some amazing things and that he'll be able to help us figure out how to not only bring new businesses to our city, but also retain the city, the businesses that we currently have. I want to say kudos and congratulations to Marie and to Dr. Patterson for your major accomplishment. I think that is amazing for both of you, and I'm excited and happy for you. So again, congratulations. Also for the Minorities Network, Psychology Network. Thank you all so much for coming here. I appreciate your presentation and also the fact that you guys are giving of your time and you're willing to do this without money. And so I appreciate that because it does mean a lot, and I've worked in that space for many, many years. And so I understand and have witnessed and work with folks that have mental health issues. I have to say my brother had major, massive mental health issues. And so it would have been great to have your kind of service for him. And a lot of times folks don't even realize that they are suffering from those issues. Sometimes they think they just got anger management issues. So thank you so much. Also, I wanted to say, as it regards to this week, we all went to the ICA conference and I learned a few things there. It was my first conference and I was super excited to be there because I got the opportunity to engage with other council people. But one of the things that one of the speakers talked about, which surprised me, was the fact that he gave us a list of cities with their population count of homeless people, and the Santa Monica has 700 homeless people there, and I was quite surprised because the many times that I've gone there, it's been like pretty clean. And so I thought to myself that, wow, we only have 125 people and our number have gone down from where it was. So I just thought, wow, I'm so proud of our city for addressing the homeless population. But in addition to him sharing the numbers of other cities, he also talked about it's not just one city problem. It's all of us. And we all have to continue to work together collectively because, as we know from our police department, they move from one city to the next. And they just circle around. So it's not just the city of Hawthorne problem. It's a California problem. It's a world problem. And so I'm glad that we're at the forefront of addressing it by having folk like them come to us and partner with us to make sure we're addressing not only their homelessness, but also their mental health. The other thing that he talked about that I thought was very interesting. As you know, when it was they were talking about the fires and there was misinformation coming from different departments. He hit on the importance of having one voice throughout our city represent us, whether it be our mayor or our chief of police. But one person should be the one person who is facing our community to communicate what is going on, to let everybody know what it is that we need to work on. And I do know that Olivia Valentine has, and still does, was very instrumental in preparedness disaster. And it just made me think about some things that I'll share with our city manager that we should be focusing on, because we may not have to deal with fires, but we definitely sure have to deal with earthquakes. And we just want to definitely make sure that we are prepared. One more thing, I got like 3 more things that I want to move to. The other thing that they talked about was, and I thought this was interesting, is everybody is talking about transportation, the impact of the Olympics and how the Olympics is going to impact our community. One of the things that I wasn't aware of is that the people that are ticketed to go actually to the games will not be able to drive to the games. And so you'll have to actually get on Metro public transportation and be chauffeured over there to that location. And so they're going to be contacting our city manager within a week and discuss some of the things that need to be addressed. So I know that our residents are always concerned about traffic and how we're going to be impacted. And Olivia, you just mentioned in your oral communications about the impact of just that apartment building in Gardena. So imagine that as well as the folks from the Olympics. So we'll be bringing you guys more update as time progresses about what we're going to be doing as a city as it regards to transportation. I have two more things. One is the Business Expo. Hawthorne Business Expo is taking place on April 24th, 2025 from 3 to 7 p.m. Make sure that it's the Business Expo and Job Fair and panel discussion. Also, we are hosting Women's History Month. I'm so sad you can't be there. And it's going to be Saturday, March 29th. Both events are free. You're going to get food. Please mark on your calendars. Mother's Day is May the 10th. We're going to have entertainment as well as food. And then my last, I actually had two directives. One is if we could put the facade program on the next agenda. I was wondering if we could talk about, we could talk about maybe increasing the budget for the facade program and finding maybe other ways that we could get money maybe from government. And then the last thing I wanted to ask my colleagues is the Sparks reached out, LA Sparks reached out. They wanted to host a clinic here in the city of Hawthorne, wanting to partner with us and for 2 days in July 13th and 14th. And after they have the championship game, those two teams that win would go to the Crypto Center, and city staff and council would be invited to attend this event, and we would be mentioned and recognized during the game. And I was wanting to ask my council colleagues if you would be willing to waive the fee of $1,107 for the 2 days. At the Memorial Center. And it's for middle school and middle school girls.
Do we have a protocol when it comes to waiving fees? I mean, I just want to be careful because.
Per ordinance, city council has the ability to waive fees. Talking to the city attorney, if there's going to be discussion, we would need to move forward with a discussion action item unless we have consensus to move forward with Mayor Pro Tem Manning's request.
Oh, yeah. The thing is that, I ain't going to say it, but just go ahead. When they offered to allow us to,
we can't take a vote and get consensus during elected official reports.
Yeah.
That's not an action item.
That's a little bit higher.
If there is a if Mayor Pro Tem is seeking a consensus or vote from the rest of the council members. If it's not a straight directive, then we should just set it for an agenda item as a discussion action to fully discuss it, so council can take action on it.
So you're saying we can't take consensus either? We have to vote on it?
Yes, so
Okay.
if you're seeking consensus, it's same as taking an action.
Okay,
So that would have to be agendized as a discussion action.
okay. Can you,
Yes,
Thank
to
you.
the next meeting, yes.
Yeah, that's, sorry about that. We just have to discuss it a little bit more than just that.
thank you. That's it for me.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Chair, can I just make a disclaimer because I don't want us to get an impression.
The sticker program, it's not going to be a Hawthorne idea. It's coming from Chicopee City.
Oh, okay.
So just to make a disclaimer on that.
What is it? What, I didn't get it.
The special need
Oh.
sticker program is already being implemented in Chicopee
Got
City,
Oh.
so I don't want to give an impression that it's going to be a Hawthorne idea.
Okay, I thought
okay?
our officers came
yeah.
up with it.
All right, so yeah, okay. And just talking about a little bit about Hawthorne, promoting Hawthorne. So last night I was at the Beverly Hills Chamber of Commerce talking about Black African and Black History Months on behalf of the city. So I was there. Thank you. As on a panel.
In Beverly Hills.
In Beverly Hills. Imagine that.
Jesus.
Oh, wow.
You didn't invite? No, okay. All right. Everybody good? 1, 2, 3, 4. Good? You good? All right, guys. So thank you so much for your comments, guys. And thank you, everybody, for being here. I attended the Independent Cities Association conference this past weekend, and separately we had Vice Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem Katrina Manning attend, and separately Councilwoman Angie Reyes English that attended. So we all took a lot of different things. There was several seminars, sessions, and one of them was homelessness, the other one was talking about policing, and the other one had financial concerns. During the homeless presentation, the homelessness, the unhoused, unhomeless, the homeless presentation, I did make contact with one of the presenters, and I know that I've been asking about tracking the homeless population, and asking specific questions that we can later tabulate to be able to find out different things, how long you've been homeless, how like where were you originally from, coming from, where, how did you end up here, how did you hear about these ex-services. It's just a list of questions that some of the cities that are around us are using. So I'm going to try to get a hold of that so that I could bring it and present to our homeless task force so that they could look and we could get some information that we could follow and be able to track what's actually happening. This will address some of the things that I've been asking about. And to be honest with you, I know we could get more information. It's just I didn't know where to start. And so now that we were there, I was able to get some, to be able to hone in on kind of what we were looking for. I know there's just more so that we could help and also know what we're doing and where our efforts are going to. Thank you, guys. Real quick, when it came to the my action discussion item, the elected officials, that was the elected officials. That included also the city treasurer and the city clerk. But I just wanted to clarify what the intention was there. We have 4,000 as council members. The ladies have 3,000. I'm not just proposing. That was the intention. I just wanted to clarify it. If you guys want to deviate from it, the intention was to raise ours by 1,000 to 5,000. The intention was to raise the ladies by 3,000 to 1,000. So I just wanted to put that out there. To 4,000. To 4,000. Look at what time it is, guys. Come on. Cut me a break. I'm trying to be helpful and clarify stuff. You guys are getting all crazy on me. All right. So to clarify for us, for 4,000 to 5,000 for the ladies, both the ladies, 3,000 to 4,000. Is it okay? Just wanted to okay, I just wanted to clarify that because, God, you're gonna, all right, we're good? Just so you guys, ladies, know, and,
So Mayor, for clarity, city clerk, city treasurer will go from $3,000 to $4,000. City council will go from $4,000 to $5,000.
yeah, that was, yeah, the 1,000 bump for comprehensively for the elected officials. Right? I just wanted to clarify that because, okay, just this, I wanted to breach the subject. I know somebody came up and spoke about the new apartment complex that's being built in the city of Gardena. Councilmember Montero already knows where I'm going, right? So I just want to remind, the community and remind the speaker who came up and spoke about it. There was a time when we had a project along Crenshaw Boulevard, right across the street from, on the opposite corner of, the opposite corner on Crenshaw Boulevard, on the other opposite corner on El Segundo Boulevard. Yep, yeah. We had the opposition from SpaceX, we had opposition from community, and that was something, that was a project that was about more than 200 units as well, with reduced parking. But they were, it was claimed that it was a TOT because it's near a transit location that, they could get like density bonuses and all this other stuff. And so what they promised was going to be affordable housing for professionals turned out into market rate housing. Okay? And they even decreased the availability of parking for the employees there. So I didn't vote for it. Some of the people that spoke about it voted for it. So we just need to be very careful because sometimes things come back and hit us in the face. So now we set the precedent for Gardena to do the same. So if we did it, why are we complaining about them? Let's just be straight up. So we just need to be very careful. I know people are complaining, but it's the density exceeds this, but not by that much. Councilwoman Olivia Valentine, out of order, out of order. I don't want to do that, but out of order, please, 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 please. You'll get an opportunity at the next oral communications to address that. So let's make sure that we're very careful. There's not much we can do. Our colleagues really did approach us about that or looked at what we laid out, and that's in Gardena, and that's what they're doing. So if there are differences, I'd like to hear about it, but it looks kind of pretty much the same to me. One thing that's very important for me is, and I know that Councilwoman Angie Reyes English and I, we started talking in terms of beautification for the community, is and Councilwoman, new Councilwoman Faye Johnson has mentioned, is like the code enforcement and code enforcement tracking and using 311 app. So the thing is, I'm very interested in talking about that. I want to work with my colleagues. I'm not ready to come up with any suggestions as of now, but it's on my radar, finding out what we can do to be able to track, okay? And then also looking at our approach on, I would like for my colleagues here to consider and to keep having in the back of their mind how we approach citing the individuals out there, because I've been receiving a lot of calls where it takes iterations of visits to finally issue a citation or a penalty or take it to some type of misdemeanor level, while the residents, because that's been the approach, okay? That's been the approach. Our code enforcement does a fine job when it comes to a lot of things, but we're the ones that dictate how we're going to approach certain things, right? So we just need to be very careful. I like to see what the standards are in these other cities so that we could just make sure that we provide our residents, the same type of response, okay? If we need to increase numbers on the code enforcement team, I'm willing to consider that in time for the in time for the, what you call it, for the budget hearing or whatever. But I just would like for you guys to, for us to take a look, see where we're at. Okay? I don't want to say critical look, but just as best look, and then see if there's any things that we could change when it comes to that. As part of that, this I could definitely say, oh, thank you, Mr. City Manager. I appreciate your feedback. you know, that's dear to me, man. That's dear to me. And as part of that, I got a call. I've been getting like 2 or 3 calls from residents talking about the bulky items on the properties in front of apartments. Let's be straight and let's be straightforward and not be shy about talking about this thing. In front of the apartments, they got the sofas, they got washing machines and all this stuff. And one thing that we have to, mattresses all stained and cochino looking, refrigerators, and you guys have gotten those calls, right? So one thing is, we have apartment owners that have apartments here in the city of Hawthorne that are not Hawthorne residents. They're in their cozy mansions up in Palos Verdes, Beverly Hills, and all these fancy areas, while they're sucking the money, rent money from the tenants here, and not taking care of their properties. They're going cheapo when it comes to property management. And when you walk by or you drive by the street, you see the dirty mattresses in front and all this other crap. Okay? And the thing is, I think we've been soft on this, and I think we need to up it again. That's something I want to put on the agenda for the next time. This is a directive for action discussion, so that we could talk about it and everybody can exchange ideas and think about how we could approach this. Because I think some of these apartment owners have gotten away with not getting cited and penalized, okay?
Through the chair.
Yes, ma'am.
Can we extend that to Republic also? Because what I've seen, it was last year or 2 years ago, Republic put out blue trash cans for all these apartment complexes. Well, the tenants use them for trash because their dumpster is overflowing, and they leave it on the sidewalk. Nobody takes it out, nobody brings it in.
I think that would probably be a separate, maybe
Okay.
back-to-back discussion. I wouldn't want to bunch it up with the penalties for the apartment owners or the management companies. So if you'd like to maybe,
Because, I mean, it would go along with penalties to the owner and the property management
Yeah.
company if they don't.
no, I appreciate your feedback on that. If you want to but I just like to kind of keep them separate. And if that's a directive you want to give, that's fine.
Yes, please.
Okay, and so penalties on apartment owners and, and how we approach that, because that's just too much. Okay, but as an action discussion item. And then the last thing.
Mayor, for clarity, so this apartment owners, is that just for bulky items? You mentioned the landscaping and how
Bulky
they're keeping.
items, landscaping, everything. But that's the main, yes.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
Noted.
Yeah, we just need to have Hawthorne clean and, it just, these people over here on yachts and, and stuff.
Through the chair.
What?
We're also going to, a separate item is we're going to address the trash cans that go along with those apartment complexes.
Yeah. We had an issue where there was a big old bulky item like furniture, like on somebody's lawn. We couldn't reach the apartment owner because they were out on a vacation, fancy vacation somewhere. While this stuff's all piling up over here on their properties that they're making investment profit off of. I mean, you want, yeah, we don't deserve that type of stuff. You could go do that in your backyard. One time I don't disagree with you, buddy. All right. Along with that, the final thing is a directive so that we could put another action discussion item. We talk about 311 app. Okay? I got those calls. And then they're calling me and they're trying to report that stuff. And so I have to end up calling Vaughn, or I have to try to. They come through me, then I have to send the email over here. I think we should just start just thinking about how we're going to market the 311 app. I think staff can come up with some ideas, and I think amongst us, in an action discussion item, we could come up with some ideas on how we could do that as well. So it's a collaborative effort. I know we say, hey, staff, take a look at it and figure it out. But I think if we could participate and contribute, and I don't know, is it just social media? Do we have banners? Do we have like a video, like some campaigns with like cable? Sure, feedback, real quick.
Definitely think we should use our digital media board to talk about that. And that should be consistent around our city. And even if we have some spaces where we can do some banners, that would be a great idea.
QR code. Well, yeah, bring all those ideas, man.
Okay,
bring
and
all
one
those
last
ideas.
thing, Mayor. I was just thinking the next time we send mailings to all of the business, if we could create a thing where
QR code.
A QR code where they can place it somewhere in their business, so when people go up to the register, they can see that QR code.
See, you're coming up with ideas already, and that's good. So I think he's going to take notes, and once we have the action discussion item, he'll draw them back up, so that we could talk about it and just just make it official, right? Sounds good, guys. I think that's
Yeah.
I mean, we throw it all on them sometimes. Hey, come up with this, and then we do it, and then say, oh yeah, we're cool, or then we go away. Ah, man, we could have done more. Oh, well, let's start pitching in, okay, guys?
Right minds too.
Whoa, shh. I got the floor, guys. Let's not get to the all right, but I think we're good, guys. Absolutely, Pablo Catano, was a great person. He inspired me. He ran 3 times. I remember I told you guys that on one of his runs, he had won the election, but they found just enough votes at the bottom of the ballot box to invalidate his victory and give it to somebody else. Pretty, sneaky that would happen in our city, but it happened. And yeah, he inspired me. He was the first Latino elected official here on the city council, and he's going to be really missed. And we still think about him. So, thank you, Councilmember Alex Montero, for letting us know, and I think you're coordinating this. We appreciate it. All right, so, damn, 28. All right. Anything further from council members or staff? If not, this meeting is adjourned.